And we live. Hopefully the sound's good. Let me check it real quick.
Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude.
Let's see this.
We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my
Okay, okay.
Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool.
I like
Will
it.
you be my boo? Ayo, baby,
Shout out Paulo.
got my mind spinning.
Shout out Lil Lens.
My feels go crazy for you. You my baby boo. Got me
Y'all can check out Lil Lens on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Yo, dope. I'm working on. Let me turn this down real quick. Let me hit pause so I can.
I love it when you're laughing. Your smile got me cheesy. Like some
Man, Jesus.
to the dome. Let's get gone.
Okay. So I have some stuff I'm working on for my Etsy shop, and I have a couple themes I'm gonna work through. Today I'm going to focus on a space theme, and I got some examples on Pinterest that I can use as references because I want to create some like a digital downloadable space set and post it today or have that listing up today. That's the goal. You know, it is Friday. It is Friday the 13th. Wow. Should I do something horror related? Horror Valentine's? A little zombie bee or something? A little zombie love action? That would be pretty fun. Hey, what? Okay, sorry, I'm still listening to the music in my headphones. Let me turn this back up.
Get nasty with it.
I'm shake that ass.
Get nasty with it.
Alright, we can't listen to that on, let's listen to some... Let's listen to something chill this morning. Big Jams? No. Let's see. Lil Lens and Buzz, my Christmas Valentine. Let's throw that ass back. Can I get you another double shot?
What the fuck you talking about?
I named this one Super Mario Galaxy, but it's not really.
My circle now, prepare to drown. Pour it down until we hit the ground. I know Mary want to come now, but this Susan's calling me out. Look at me now, sit for line, now I'm calm.
Let me see how this looks.
Party, party, party is all I want to do. Living my life like it's bulletproof. Puffing, cooking till I'm highly overdosed. Hot shots to deliver that 100 proof. Ooh, it feel good. Yeah, she look good. Flashing lights on her like she Hollywood. Memory straight black, but I'm still up, yo. Smooth swerving on your bitch on the dance floor. I don't love her, I just want to fuck her. Undercover in the Toyota. Drink, smoke, and sniff until we in a coma. Drink, smoke, and sniff until we in a coma.
Alright, Paulo, this isn't just, this is more like late at night type of music. I need something chill right now. Let's go back to my Zelda. Alright, let's see. I'll go back to Zelda and chill. Game chops. Okay, I have to think of some designs for this one. Let's, I have to get some planets up in here. No, I don't want it to look like a polygon. I need it to look like a planet. Let me draw a circle. Let's draw some circles. Fill them in a little bit. What? What? Tell you something crazy? Probably. I don't want to. probably should have separated the actual planet from what this looks like. Let's I'm not gonna change it right now, but I'll get a little bit of silly. Hey, what's going on, Zam for Life? How you do this? I'm on Procreate, and I did the background first. Now I'm trying to get some sort of planetary orbital thingamajig going, you know? It's coming along, bud. Hopefully it turns out the way I'd like it to. Like that looks too dark, right? Then I'm gonna test out some shading. Okay. Let's see what this. Or some blending. Looks kind of weird right there. trying to get some more of a little texture, but it doesn't look that great. I'll fix it, post edit. I gotta watch House of Dragon. That came out today, right? Or if it come out later today. I gotta figure out if House of Dragon comes out later today or if it's out already. But I gotta see that Battle 7. I'll tell you that. Are there no true knights among you? You're like, whoa. Ah, what happened? Oh, I got a subscriber. Shout out. Appreciate that. That scared me a little bit. I thought I had a different jingle on that. I should have said. The One Piece is real. Okay. I gotta fix that. I'll fix that post edit. Put it on the copper room floor. Cutting room floor? However they say it. I'm gonna keep that one like that. Looks like a little Easter egg. Okay. I do have a little bit of a technique that I like to work with here. Look at these elements. hell is that? Let me see this real quick. Galaxia. That looks crazy. I kind of like that. It looks kind of weird. Like it shouldn't be there. I don't know if it fits on this one though. I gotta. It's a little too busy. I'll use this. I'm gonna have to blend it in though. Texture. Yeah, I know what I'm gonna need to do on the next planet that I make was that needs to be in front of it. I'm gonna need to finish this one up soon. And go on to the next one. I need to give myself a time limit. Because I need to finish 10 of these. And then I might have to move on to plants too. How's that look? Little galaxy forming. Let me, I do like that texture though. This Galaxia is pretty nice. These plants over here. my stuff right here, but well. I'm trying to show this like in the background a little bit, but not really taking into what I want it to look like. Be able to use these as planets next time. like a little bubble space type of thing. Huh, okay, I'm getting a little bit of an idea right now. I know what I want. I just discovered something cool. Broken light. Got broken light. I like how this looked over here. one. Base. That. This might be space set 2 right here, because I'm not gonna. It looks sideways, doesn't it? Looks like the wrong way. Maybe I should draw like a spaceman falling down or something. Let me get it right in there. And torso, arms, legs, body. This is like a scary image, isn't it? I can draw a spaceman falling down. Just gonna go. I can't see these damn bubbles. I need a different color. Let's try this one. No, it's too dark. We lower the opacity here. that looks pretty cool. I fuck with that heavy. Look at that texture. We got darker color back here. Planet. Still Game Chops. Hopefully it is, because I don't want any copyright problems. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. Let me see this. I'm not really a fan of how this these shapes look over here. Let me see if I can alter them a bit. Got a smoky one too. Okay. After this one, I'm gonna do like a one that's gonna be like a repeatable pattern, and I think that'll be a little cute, little cutie, right? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Oh, my back hurts. Let me get some coffee. I'm also listening to a professor talk about the Epstein scandal.
Of these relationships and how it gets all the way to the level of empire.
Yeah, so the first thing we need to understand is that power always consolidates and coalesces. And what I mean by that is that these intelligence agencies, Mossad, CIA, MI6, they're all, they're all interlocked together. They're all in alliance together. That's the first thing. Second thing is that these intelligence agencies are also in alliance with different secret societies as well as criminal organizations. So from the perspective of people like someone like Jeffrey Epstein, he's the real power in the world. And that's why he thinks that he can dictate foreign policy to everyone. Okay, so I don't think Jeffrey Epstein was actually a spy. I think Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend, was actually the spy. And one good piece of evidence for that is that Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was a notorious spy, and he was working for Mossad, MI6, as well as Russian intelligence, the KGB. So that's how the powerful works. The powerful are almost like a nexus of all these intelligence agencies, foreign governments, secret societies, and criminal organizations. And so they discuss amongst themselves how to best frame issues and how to best push events. So, from the perspective, if you look at more and more of Jeffrey Epstein's emails, what you would discover is that he was privy to a lot of geopolitical events, and in fact, he was actually helping to plan a lot of geopolitical events as well.
Yeah, and let's go dive more deeply now into some of these power players that were revealed to be not to be very close to Jeffrey Epstein, where he was literally talking about them with Kathy Rumier, who is Obama's on Obama's legal counsel, White House counsel. He says, girls, when talking to her, careful, I will renew an old habit. Mind you, she says, you might get sick of me just out down on this train. You're not managing anything your time well enough. It's UN General Assembly week. He says this week, Peter Thiel, Larry Summers, William Burns, former CIA director, Gordon Brown, a former UK prime minister, Jagland, who is a Nobel Peace Prize chairman, was Mongolian president. He's just naming people, Boris Gates, Bill Gates, everyone who he has contacts with, who he meets with, and says, I might pick up, I might renew an old habit. You, just your response before we move on.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it's obvious that everyone in power, they're friends with each other. They know each other. So this sort of like struggle between nation states. It's all just a curated media show for us. It's not. It's actually real. What goes on behind the scenes is that these powerful people are all friends. Okay, so even though there's wars going on between Russia and Ukraine, guess what? The elite of Ukraine and Russia, all friends. Guess what? The elite of Europe and Russia and Ukraine and America, they're all friends. They go to the same parties. Their children go to the same schools. They're probably intermarried with each other. So that's really how the world works. And as more and more of these Epstein files are released, the more and more we will discover that the elite is all interconnected. They're just playing us for fools. That I think is the ultimate message of these file release.
Yeah, and Professor Zhang, in your works you have called America, where while Jeffrey Epstein seemingly was working for Israel, he was working within the United States and tugging on all of the most powerful people, to the point where he was, I mean, a lot of people have been bringing this up. He had all of this dirt on Donald Trump, and then he ended up dead. Could you talk about the given that we know Jeffrey Epstein was a major player in driving U.S. foreign policy, was majorly connected, and was likely conducting some kind of what seemed like a blackmail operation. Talk about why. Why is this necessary from the point of view of the power elite, those who are ruling over this empire? Because we have major connections to Israel, major connections to this decaying American empire that now Donald Trump is looking like the kind of the leader that's falling on the sword, so to speak, that he is being absolutely he is being dragged almost as the antichrist figure in all of this.
Yeah. So the first thing to note is that Jeffrey Epstein is not unique. You go to any major American city, I guarantee you there is a Jeffrey Epstein-like figure coordinating among the city's different politicians, celebrities, mafia organizations, secret societies. Okay, so Jeffrey Epstein is a very common character in today's world. Now, why is that the case? Well, okay, so let's look at today's world, and I will highlight three structural issues with today's world. Okay, the first major problem with today's world is the atomization of society, meaning that we focus on the individual, whereas before in previous societies we focus on the family, the tribe, the clan. But nowadays we've all been atomized, we've all been individualized. That diminishes our capacity to work together for the pursuit of certain political ends. Okay, that's a
Yeah, everybody is their own individual contributor. They just want to worry for themselves instead of, having everybody's back and thinking that, like, why do I just need to worry about myself when I have a family, I have friends, I have loved ones? Why can't I have a tribe? I feel like that's just capitalism, isn't it? Worry about yourself, make as much money as you can.
the first major problem in today's world. Second major problem in today's world is globalization, multiculturalism, transnationalism. So people's sense of ethnic identity has been dampened. It's been diluted, and so people are less willing to work for a cultural cohesive cause. Okay, that's the second major problem. The third major problem, which is the most major problem, is the bureaucratization of society. You look at the growth of the federal government in Washington D.C. Then you look at the growth of the EU superstate in Europe. So our lives have become more and more bureaucratic. The problem with this is that bureaucracies are indifferent. They're aloof. They're compartmentalized. Okay, so all these different departments are siloed off, and they cannot coordinate together. So in today's society, you have a problem of coordination. How do you get groups to work together? Well, you get them to work together mainly for secret societies. And it's because secret societies solve three major problems that would benefit the members in today's society. The first is secrecy, second is trust, and the third is coordination. Okay, so secrecy, because you don't want to be discovered. If you are discovered, people would think that you're cheating in this game, and then you would be outlawed, you'd be persecuted. Trust is, how do you trust members of your society not to rat you out? And the third is, how do you work together for a common cause, coordination? And the solution to all three problems is, of course, blackmail. So you need someone like Jeffrey Epstein, and there are lots of people like Jeffrey Epstein, to help the elite coalesce together through blackmail by engaging in acts of transgression, whether it's ritual sexual abuse of children, which is very common. But look, there are actually even worse forms of transgression. I'm not going to go into them because they are disgusting and vile. But we've all heard rumors of this transgression. So that's why we have blackmail today. That's why someone like Jeffrey Epstein is everywhere in society. And that's why we need someone like Jeffrey Epstein, because the only way for the elite to work together is through blackmail. Otherwise, they don't trust each other. Otherwise, they'll go to war with each other. So something I will say with regard to Donald Trump is that people forget that Trump's first mentor and his most influential teacher was actually Ray Cohn. Okay, if you look at Ray Cohn, if you look at history, he was actually the original Jeffrey Epstein. He was part of the Washington gay mafia, and he specialized in blackmailing politicians. He was very good friends with J. Edgar Hoover. They went to each other's parties where they engaged in all these sort of like homosexual endeavors, and they had pictures of each other. So Roy Cohn was the original Jeffrey Epstein, and he was the mentor of Donald Trump. So what did Donald Trump learn from Roy Cohn? He learned how to blackmail other people, but most importantly, and this is really important for us to understand, is he learned how to avoid being blackmailed. So another thing that I will say about Donald Trump is that he's a teetotaler. He does not drink. This is really weird because we've known him as a playboy ever since the 1980s, and he's always dating these beautiful women. He's always throwing these lavish parties. He's always hanging out with the most famous, the most wealthy, and he himself, even though he's organizing his parties, does not touch alcohol or drugs. Why? Because he learned from Roy Cohn. That's how they get you. Okay. The worst thing that can happen to you is blackmail. So I guarantee you, these emails that are coming out, there's no dirt on this guy. If there was any dirt on this guy, Donald Trump, we would have seen it in 2016 or 2020 when the elite spent $6 billion to get rid of Donald Trump. Okay? So I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely no blackmail on Donald Trump. I'm also telling you that blackmail is just a way of life among the powerful.
Blackmail is just a way of life among the powerful. Huh. Oh, why? It's such a, like, do they have fun? Are they having a fun life, you think? What the hell was that? Oh, that was this. I was like, what the fuck is going on in my ear right now? This is horrendous right here. Pam Bondi. Piece of filth. Let me see this. I want to listen about it.
Perhaps Armor King is not as honest as we thought. Perhaps I'm not as honest as you think I am, because that first sentence was disingenuous. I, for a long time, have thought that Armor King is really not that honest. And the overwhelming public perception since his release is that he's been a pretty healthy, fair character in Tekken 8. And I want to be clear, I think the direction of Armor King is better than what we've had in a lot of Season 2. I think like the designs of Lydia and Victor, where it's a lot of button into stance and button into stance, is not fun to deal with. And Armor King is a departure from that. But is he honest? I think by the end of this video, you may come closer to my side. What I have for you are 2 matches from the Tekken World Tour 2025 Last Chance Qualifier. This was the day 3 tournament of the 4-day event. We just recovered from doing like 4-day, 14-hour streams. It was nasty. But I'm feeling good again. I want to make more videos. This was day 3. Everybody who lost in days 1 and 2 funneled into this tournament, a traditional double elimination 1st to 2 tournament where the number 1 placer gets to advance back into the final bracket. Last chance to qualify. 2 matches today, Super Akuma versus Kudons and Cuddle versus Falcon. And why this is so interesting is because there are different playstyles happening here, both defensively and offensively. So you'll get to see a lot of flavors of Armor King, a lot of situations with Armor King, and I'll break down and explain a lot that's happening in between. I also have a ton of notes on the character here. If you start to lose track of what I'm talking about, I'll get the video started while I yap about this. I think the healthiest thing about Armor King is that his defensive counterplay is much more robust than the Season 2 Lydias and Victors and Eddies that kind of put you in stances over and over again where you have to kind of just guess. If you have a good read on Armor King's timing, you can play a sidestep right, you can play a sidewalk left block, you can play a sidestep right,
but if you
duck
don't,
at range. A lot of
hard.
legacy defense works pretty well, which is exciting. But Armor King has so many strengths that I really want to highlight. And if you were playing Armor King, maybe this will give you some inspiration if you're struggling a little bit. Anyways, Kudons has a huge lead in this first round. Super Akuma not getting a good start here. 43 seconds left, but he finds a counter hit 4-3, and this is where it begins. No amount of life lead is safe against this character. He has too many timings. He has throws because he's a grappler. They can come out of crouch dashing. He's able to represent so many threats at once, and you have to stay sharp the whole time. And sometimes you are just going to get robbed. Kudons has stabilized a little bit, but look at that lead. It's evaporated. Backdash. Okay, counter hit, but the third hit's not guaranteed. That's pretty fair, I think. Down forward 1-2. Hell sweep. It's looking ugly for Super Akuma, and a whiff down forward 3. Kudons playing just a calm backdash here and making the counter hit launching safe knee whiff. We like that. We like that. For all the complaining you will hear me make about Armor King, we like backdashable moves. We like sidesteppable moves. Movement being stronger is a good thing. Safe? No, not safe. Plus on block, full crouch down forward 2 launcher. Okay? And Armor King's combo damage is a huge asset to him. 87 damage, not with the optimal wall ender, but it's fine. Tombstone pile driver. He has too many throws, too many pokes, too many threats. Even the strongest Korean players in the world will get thrown. 1-1 gets crushed by down back 3. And Kudons, I believe he ducked here. This is a new string in Tekken 8. Yeah, he ducked, or maybe it was backdashing. Armor King historically just has down back 2-4 the high, but in Heat, he gets down back 2-1 with the mid chop. Raw dark upper at round start. And this is where it begins. It's not just all small... Oh, he drops the combo. I was going to say, it's not just all small play, backdashing, and quick pokes. Armor King can just throw out a launcher, and it's not that unsafe. And only 2 of them need to hit for him to delete your life bar.
That's what I'm saying.
I say all that, but Kudons has a huge lead here despite that dark upper launch. Power Crush. Bad Jaguar 2-4 the mid. Does a chunk, and he gets a wake-up situation. Kicks him when he's down. Running 3. 2 throws broken. Giant swing connects. The wall is behind him, and Kudons is dead. This was the situation before that all turned around. Look at this life bar, man. Power Crush here. Would you believe that Kudons is about to lose from this position? And you know what's crazy about it too? It wasn't even in Heat. He kills him here just using rage and throws. Just with rage and throws. Armor King is built to rob. What is he going to do round start here? He sidestep blocks. Nice. Making it a bit confusing what he's going to do next. Nice punish from Kudons. A little side swing blow. Does a chunk. Forward 4 neutral 2 whiffs. Kudans gets a small whiff punish only, but goes into Warrior Instinct. This should be his round. Warrior Instinct, so oppressive. Forward 4 neutral 2, hold on. 1-1-2. Okay, they're spacing out a little bit. Forward 4 neutral 2, and a nice block, but he's a bit late on the punish on the bad Jaguar 4. Down forward 1-2, new stuff. Armor King's down forward 1-2 extension is new to Tekken 8. Kudans gets counter hit trying to take his turn back. But he goes into heat and he's in Warrior Instinct. What a bad Jaguar parry. That was a phenomenal play. And Super Akuma can close out here. Forward 4 gets side rolled. Hell sweep. Guess for your life, and he goes for the guard break high. Look at this quick Super Akuma play before we go to final round. This was very, very nice. He goes into heat. 1 back 2. And he goes into stance to punch parry. This is very, very frame tight. That is super, super frame tight. The parry doesn't last as long or it does not have as big of a window as other parries. So Super Akuma with great presence of mind to see Heihachi do the 1 back 2 string. Now they go to final round. Kudan's still able to close out the round. How does Super Akuma start the round? Down back 3, counter hit launch. At all levels of play, this is a threat. If you sit still, Armor King pokes you, he grabs you, he can chunk you with stance. If you try and attack with quick pokes, he can counter hit launch you. That's the full dynamic. Sometimes you'll get robbed. And look at this. It's mostly fine. Super Akuma misses the launch punish. Giant swing broken this time. His heat gauge is about to run out. And now Kudans is in a great position here. Forward 4-2. Kudans blocks. Nice. Spacing away from the dark upper. Counter hit back 4. Very well placed. Super Akuma trying a sidestep button. But it's not over. It's never over against Armor King. Forward 4-2 connect. Down 2 connect. And then the full crouch down forward 2 again. And the rage art should be lethal. Unbelievable. 3 different moves again. Mainly the down 2 with the little pocket stand out of nowhere.
Alright, Armor King is OP. Yeah. We all know this. We all know this. Fuck Armor King. That's all I gotta say. Fuck Armor King. He's too powerful. Not Etsy or art fairs, where artists are quietly making sales without posting every day. Where to post your art in 2026?
Hey, what's up? I don't know about you.
I don't know about you, but I have some art to show you. That's what they all say. Capitalism. Let me listen to Professor Xiang versus
Good morning, YouTube.
Why the West is doomed. Fuck.
Good morning, YouTube. So, I know that you flock this channel because I am such a sunny and optimistic person. I bring cheer in a world of gloom. You may face some difficulties in your life, but you know that when you watch my videos, I'm going to tell you how great the world is. Unfortunately, today, it's all going to be doom and gloom. I'm going to talk about how the Western world is going to collapse, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. So, let me start with a concrete example. I live in Canada, and these past few years, I've just seen Canadian society get worse and worse. And a lot of the issue is this relentless immigration these past 5 years. Millions of people have come into this country seeking a better life. Unfortunately, they congregate in only a few cities where there are economic opportunities. And as a result, housing prices have gone up, inflation has gone up, cost of living has gone up, but wages have been stagnant or depressed because of the surge in cheap labor. And in Toronto, if you're not making at least $100,000 a year, it's very hard to get by. And quite frankly, most are not making that kind of money, and most are struggling. So crime has gone up, homelessness has gone up, drug addiction has gone up. It's a very dire situation in Canada. Now, it's easy to blame the immigrants. And I don't think the reason are the immigrants. I myself am an immigrant, so maybe I'm biased. But I will say that we came over in about 1983, and my dad was a high school teacher in a village in Canada. Sorry, my dad was a high school teacher in our village back in China. And we were really thankful for our opportunity to come to Canada, and we felt really blessed because life back in China was just terrible. It's really hard for anyone today to imagine the poverty in China back then during the Cultural Revolution. But let me give you a concrete example. 15 years ago, my dad came to visit me in Beijing when I was working as a high school
I'm just
administrator.
experimenting.
And he
But
bought
this is
an entire
interesting.
duffel bag, a huge duffel bag of toilet rolls, 24 toilet rolls. And the reason why is toilet paper was considered the ultimate luxury back in our village during the Cultural Revolution. And so maybe he wanted to give these toilet rolls to all his relatives and show everyone that he's made it in Canada. Well, the problem was that he had a very hard life in Canada, as most recent immigrants do. He was a dishwasher for his entire life. And as a dishwasher working in restaurants and bars, he encountered a lot of racism and humiliation. So let me give you an example. One day, my dad and I went to a supermarket to buy some butter. We couldn't find the butter because our supermarket was just huge. So my dad, he saw a clerk wearing his uniform, his white uniform, and my dad asked him, "Sorry, sir, do you know where the butter is?" Okay, I mean, his English isn't that great though, but it was pretty easy to understand what my dad wanted. The store clerk looks at him briefly and says, "Sorry, I don't work here." Okay, so that's the sort of humiliation that my dad faced every day as a new immigrant in Canada who didn't have any status and whose English wasn't very good. We were very poor in Canada. We could easily qualify for welfare, but we didn't apply for welfare because we didn't know welfare existed. I remember late at night, my dad would sneak out across the street and pick up some sofas or chairs that the neighbors had discarded, and they would become our furniture. My dad cut my hair. So believe it or not, but when I was younger, my hair was actually worse than it is today. And so the kids made fun of me. I had bad hair, uneven hair. My mom bought me clothes from bargain outlets, so they were crappy clothes. They weren't Nike or Adidas that the other kids were wearing. And I smelled bad. So understandably, the other kids teased me. I was very unpopular. So I focused on school. I focused on getting out of poverty. And through hard work, I went to Yale University on a full scholarship. And that opened new doors, new vistas for me. And so I really achieved the Canadian dream. And if it weren't for Canada, if it weren't for Yale, I wouldn't be able to make YouTube videos. So I'm very thankful for Canada and for Yale. So again, we're really thankful for the opportunity to come. But the reality is, there's just too many immigrants coming into this country. And what's really happening is, even though you may have some short-term economic GDP bursts, ultimately you're degrading the social capital, trust, and cohesion of Canada. Ultimately, the Canadian identity has always been fragile. And all this massive influx of immigrants is making the identity much more fragile. which is in the long term going to affect Canada's capacity to work together, to innovate, to be resilient, to be cohesive as a society. Right now, a quarter, 25% of Canadians are foreign-born, first-generation immigrants like myself. So if there were ever a referendum and Canadians could choose whether or not to join the United States voluntarily, most of these immigrants would immediately say, let's join the United States because there are more economic opportunities. So in the long term, I don't see Canada staying together. I think Canada will ultimately be dismembered by the United States and be absorbed into the American empire in the next 20, 30 years. I don't think Canada right now can be a sustainable nation. Now, it's really easy to blame immigrants for all of this. And most Canadians do, in fact, blame immigrants because that's what they encounter every day. They encounter immigrants not being able to speak English, not following the rules, cutting in line. They watch the news and see immigrants committing crimes. They see immigrants, rich immigrants, buying up these expensive property and making life miserable for everyone. So it's really easy to blame the immigrants. But ultimately, we need to understand why this immigration is happening. And it's happening because of the baby boomers. The baby boomers want three things. They want their pensions to be paid. They want quality, free healthcare. And they want the property prices to go up.
Death by gerontocracy. Gerontocracy, is that what he called it? Old people holding on to their wealth. Gerontocracy. A state, society, or group governed by old people.
Basically, they want the Canadian economy to keep on growing and growing and growing, regardless of the consequences. Now, in order for the economy to grow, there are three main mechanisms to accomplish this. The first mechanism is to exploit resources, because Canada really is the wealthiest country in the world. It has abundant, almost infinite resources, especially fresh water, which is what the world is going to need in the next 100 years. So Canada's an extremely wealthy place, and it can choose to exploit and export a lot of these resources. Okay, that's the first solution. The second solution, which is much more sustainable, is to unleash the entrepreneurial energy of the Canadian people, to encourage more entrepreneurship, more privatization, to reduce the regulatory state, to reduce the red tape. Okay, that's the second solution. And the third solution is immigration. Let's let in more immigrants. Let's let in the rich immigrants to pour cash into the economy. Let's let in poor immigrants so that they work as slave labor for Canadian corporations. So of these three solutions, the Canadian government went with the third solution: increase immigration. Now, a lot of people out there believe that this is a conspiracy, that there's this global international conspiracy out there to dilute national identity, to destroy the idea of the nation state, to reduce the white gene pool. This is all a World Economic Forum white replacement theory conspiracy spearheaded by the Jews. And quite honestly, if the people in charge were this smart, were this well organized, the world wouldn't be in the mess that it is today. You'd be surprised by how idiotic, by how incompetent the people in charge are. So let me explain to you why immigration is increasing, not just in Canada, but also throughout the Western world. Okay, so to understand this, we need to understand the framework of the Canadian nation. Why does Canada exist, and what does Canada do? Well, Canada has some certain unique characteristics. First of all, it's a vast nation with almost infinite wealth, surrounded by two oceans, the Pacific and the Atlantic. And so Canada does not have like natural predators as they would in Europe. Canadians grew up in a time of relative peace, safety, and security. The problem, though, is that Canada shares a border with the world's most powerful empire, with history's greatest empire, America. And so, in order to prevent conflict between Canada and the United States, the last major conflict between Canada and the United States was the War of 1812. To prevent the conflict, there's almost an implicit agreement between the people of Canada and the people of America. Canadians, first and foremost, are not ambitious. If Canadians were ambitious, then Canada would be at war with America, and America would have absorbed Canada into the American Empire a long time ago. So Canadians, the core characteristic of the Canadian identity is lack of ambition in order to maintain peace and stability with America. And if you're not ambitious, then you're not going to industrialize, which means that you're going to maintain and safeguard the environment. You'll use some of the environment, but you'll make sure it's self-sustaining. So in other words, Canada is almost like a resource bank for the American Empire. The American Empire, when it needs, can always draw on the infinite resources of Canada. And so, because of its lack of ambition, there are two main drivers of the Canadian economy. The first, as I said, is resource exploitation, but sustainable, limited resource exploitation. But the main driver of the Canadian economy is immigration. Canada allows rich, corrupt families to come to Canada to hide their wealth. Canada also welcomes cheap labor, poor immigrants like my father, to come to Canada to do all the work, so that Canadians can enjoy their life on drinking beer, drinking Molson's, a terrible beer by the way, by the cottage. And because of this economic framework, three major religions have developed in Canada to sustain this economic framework. The first religion is environmentalism. So Canadians love the environment. They believe it is their duty, their inherent duty, to protect and love trees. That's the first religion. Second religion is multiculturalism. The belief that diversity is good, mainly because white people love ethnic food. When white people think multiculturalism, they think ethnic restaurants, Mexican food, Chinatown, and so they love multiculturalism. But if immigrants become politically ambitious, like the Indians, no, you can't have that. So that's why Indians are so derided in Canada, because the Indians are actually politically active and effective. And but hey, if the Indians stick to making samosas every day, Canadians would love them. So in a multicultural society, what's really important is to be an open society and not have a distinct cultural identity. And this has created a lot of problems in Canada. It'll create further problems in Canada. And the third major religion is bureaucratism, right? Because if you don't have your own ethnic identity, if you don't have a core ambition, then you need a regulatory state, a bureaucracy, in order to maintain everything together. You need people to tell you what to do. And Canadians worship authority. Canadians are extremely obedient. Canadians believe experts know everything. Okay, so because of these three religions, there are three distinct characteristics about the Canadian individual. Okay, what are Canadians really good at? Well, the first thing is Canadians are really good at following the rules. From birth, Canadians believe that they must obey the rules. The worst thing that can happen is if they break a rule. Second thing that the Canadians really are really good at is being polite to other people, because in a multicultural society, you don't want to offend everyone. But I will say that I have noticed in my most recent trip back to Canada, Canadians are no longer so polite. They're much more passive aggressive than before because of the dire economic situation that Canada is in right now. And the third thing that Canadians are really good at, in fact, probably the best in the world at, is being mediocre. Okay, Canadians absolutely have no ambition. In fact, they hate ambition. I remember in high school, because I was poor and I wanted to go to Yale, I was extremely focused on grades. And so my teachers, the word they used for me is ambitious. I'm an ambitious individual. And that's essentially a curse word in Canada. But I will say this. Canada, I mean, if you can just conceptualize heaven on earth, it would be Canada.
This is hilarious. He is talking so much shit about Canadians. Oh my god. He's like, ambition? This is a curse word to Canadians. They lack ambition. They want to lounge around and do nothing. But he's also calling Canada heaven on earth. But is it for the people who are just straight up Canadian?
Right? Extreme wealth, extremely generous government benefits. No one will go poor. No one will starve in Canada.
Let me look. I want to look up the Star Fox universe real quick. Star Fox planets. Yeah, I gotta do something like this. That's pretty cool. Look at that. The portal. Corneria. Damn, I kind of do want to draw another Star Fox picture. I might just do the space animals at some point.
No wars, just complete peace. It's almost heaven on earth. And here is an opportunity for people to achieve eudaimonia, right? Eudaimonia is the Greek term for flourishing. Here is opportunity for Canadians to contribute intellectually to the development of humanity.
What other places have like solar system maps just out there? Now my brain's percolating right now. It's all like, why aren't you doing just space themed shows or space themed from video games? Video game space maps. Let's see. Solar system space map. Do the solar system? I don't want to just do the solar system. Okay, let's look up Metroid space map. How about Mario Galaxy space map? fuck is this? I don't know if I can draw any of the maps from Mario Galaxy. It's kind of difficult. Alright, that's something like this. Wow, wow, wow. This is pretty cool. World 2. Space Junk Galaxy. Oh, this isn't what I want to see. I'll start with Star Fox. I need to use the bathroom. While I use the bathroom, I'll play some Low Limbs.
Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Ayo, baby, you so sexy. Got my mind spinning on the daily. Holy shit, my feels go crazy for you. You my baby boo. Got me floating on the water. Save me from the drowning. No more tears be falling. North side shorty. Wake together in the morning. Hold my hand, I'm lifting. You're not dry like biscuits. Take these shots, we tipsy. I love it when we fucking. I love it when you're laughing. Your smile got me cheesy, like some damn cheeses. Bonus to the dome, let's get gone. I don't mind if we go home, cause I know it's not wrong. Baby, play that damn song, because I'll sing along, and together we'll be strong. Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Get nasty with it, come shake that ass. Get nasty with it, and come shake that ass. Get nasty with it, and come shake that ass. Get nasty with it, and come shake that ass. Now throw that ass back like you fucking. 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 Get nasty with it. Get nasty with it. Now throw that ass back. Now throw that ass back. Get nasty with it. Throw that ass back. Now throw that ass back. Get nasty with it. Shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. That ass, 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 ass. Get nasty with it. Now shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake, shake, Get nasty with it. Get nasty with it. Now throw that ass back, 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 throw that ass back. Now shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Throw that ass back like you fucking. 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 Get nasty with it. 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 Get nasty with it.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Hey girl, I'm just thinking about you. I know you ain't mine, but you've been on my mind lately and shit, I'm pretty drunk right now. But you're the first one I thought about calling. Call me.
3 a.m. in the morning, feeling kinda lonely, taking shots at me, but you're not next to me. I wonder if you ever mentioned me. I wrote about you in my diary, talking about how I always feel when you're next to me.
She got that juicy fruity, what a booty, she a cutie. She go bang, just like a toolie. When I drunk call her, she get moody, cause she want the booty. I'm Buzz Lightyear, no Toy Story shit, sorry. Don't mean no waste on time, but you been on my mind, that's one thing I can't deny. Drunk call, baby, why you so far away? Let me stay the night, promise I'll leave the next day. What you say? Damn girl, you really got me feeling. I need you here right now, I can't believe that I'm singing. We so close, yet so far away. Sometimes when we pass each other, we ain't got much to say. Don't call, baby, you know I'm on my way. Speeding on the I, this Valentine's Day. You could be mine, and I'm yours any day. I'm down to take this way, we could go far away. What you say?
I wish you were next to me. I'm pretty lit, I want you here. Ain't tryna drunk call you, baby, but it's okay. We'll take this whole damn flight. Wake up till the next day. Cuddle on the bed like, hey, see you in the morning. 3 a.m. in the morning, feeling kinda lonely, taking shots at me, but you're not next to me.
You took my heart, you put a stain. There's no pain, take my soul away.
I wonder if you ever mentioned me. I wrote about you in my diary, talking about how I always feel when you're next to me.
Take my soul away. You took my heart, you put a stain. There's no pain, take my soul away. You took my heart, you put a stain. There's no pain, take my soul away. You took my heart, you put a stain. There's no pain, take my soul away. You took my heart, you put a stain. There's no pain, take my soul away.
shorty got that vibe that I want. Got me fiending off your teasers, hell yeah, I cannot stop it for you knew it. I just wanna go in, take a feel of what you got inside, I bet it's heaven. If only shorty knew that you are my one. I wanna tell you so much, but you already got your one, so I'm still waiting. It's been like 12 seasons. I hope this mistletoe will help me get through the winter. All I want for Christmas is you. I wrote it on my wish list. I hope Santa will come through. When I wrap my gift, I am hoping that it's you. Show you what I'm all about, and that's the fucking truth. I don't want any drama. I don't want to serious shorty. You can leave the mess in the past and worry about tomorrow. Short hair, cute face, just the way that I remember. I love it when you call me on my shit. It makes me better. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I see you after school. Chiefing on this blunt that I wrote for me and you. Never thought getting high with you would be so cool. God damn, man, I'm starting to get more feels towards you. All I want for Christmas is you. I wrote it on my wish list. I hope Santa will come through. When I wrap my gift, I am hoping that it's you. Show you what I'm all about, and that's the fucking truth. All I want for Christmas is you. All I want for Christmas, I hope Santa will come through. All I want for Christmas is you. All I want for Christmas, and that's the fucking truth. All I want for Christmas is you. I wrote it on my wish list. I hope Santa will come through. When I wrap my gift, I am hoping that it's you. Show you what I'm all about, and that's the fucking truth.
This video is crazy. You feel like that video was insane. Hold up, let me see if I can pull that up.
But sometimes it's worth 6 million files and proof that you're not protecting the victims, but instead protecting a child rape sex cult. We are compromising right now the United States of Israel. So let's go step by step in how they took over. It all goes back to the Rothschilds. I know you've heard that name before. And their creation of Israel and the establishment of the state in 1948, when they first started to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians from their land. That is when the takeover and the plot for the United States began. Experienced virtually no pushback until this man entered office. And that is because obviously they were all about never forget and never again. 6 million of them were just murdered by Adolf. And so they are at the point of how do we never let this happen again?
I'm not gonna play it all, but watch Lawrence Johnson. I'm not sure if I'll get some sort of flag for him saying the word grape as explicitly as he says it, so I don't want any problems on my Twitch or YouTube. But when the professor does it, it's okay. That was a good video by Lawrence Johnson, though. That's some game chops. Let's see. Let You Go by Jim Yosef. This is Twitch friendly music. Like, do they have a playlist? Do they have something that I can sell this melody? Game chops. I wanted to see if I could find like a genre. I get some of that on, but after my geostrategy
because
update.
they have the resources, they have the time, they have the security. No one else does. And so you would expect this tremendous outpouring of human creativity in Canada these past 50 years. In reality, Canadians have, for the past 50 years, chosen to shut off their brains. Okay? Canada is an extremely complacent nation. It's almost like everyone's on Prozac or something. This is Prozac Nation. So Canadians are extremely mediocre. I think that after Canada becomes dismembered and joins the American Empire, maybe a generation afterwards, everyone's going to forget Canada ever existed, because Canada has made absolutely no contribution to the world. Canada doesn't really matter in the world, and Canadians are very happy to not matter in the world. So, so now we can understand, if your three religions are environmentalism, multiculturalism, and bureaucratism, well, then there's only one solution for you, right? Because you can't exploit resources because of your religion of environmentalism. You can't encourage entrepreneurship because of your religion of bureaucratism, right? You don't want to reduce the regulatory state. You don't want to promote individual initiative. So the only solution available to you is mass immigration, okay? And again, a lot of it is just driven by the baby boomers. So now let me explain to you why baby boomers suck. And they suck for three main reasons. The first is that they're the most selfish generation in human history. Second is that they're going to be the longest living generation in human history. And the third is that they want to maintain the empire. All right, so let me go through each one by one. Baby boomers are selfish. Everyone knows this. They had the most luxurious life. But the problem is that if you always lived a life of comfort and security and prosperity, you become a selfish individual because you think you deserve all this. Okay? The other thing is that the baby boomers have a religion, and it's an achievement. It's an ethos of achievement and accumulation. The more, the better. The bigger, the better. The more money I have, the better. The longer I live, the better. I need to accumulate and accumulate and achieve in order to signify my value, my worth. And their greed, their selfishness is destroying the environment, it's destroying the economy, and ultimately it's going to kill their children. Okay, so that's the first thing. Baby boomers are extremely selfish. And that by itself is not really a problem. The problem is they're not dying. And I can understand why, okay? Because at home, I'm living with my dad. And my dad is in his early 80s. And as I said previously, he's had this terrible life. 10 years ago, he got diagnosed with Parkinson's. 5 years ago, he had a bad fall while using the bathroom, and now he's paralyzed. And we really thought 5 years ago that was it. He had a few months to live, but he's still going. And so he has Parkinson's. He's basically paralyzed, and he's living his best life. All his life, he's worked slave wages, minimum wage, and now he's collecting a very generous pension from the Canadian government. It's free money for him. He has access to the best health care. Honestly, if we had to pay for the health care, we couldn't afford it, and he would have died 5 years ago. But now, because it's all being paid by the Canadian government, he spent 6 months at a really nice hospital with his own room. Every day, a physical therapist comes to the house and helps.
So this is why we have the healthcare system we have? Just people can die sooner. He's like, Canadians' healthcare system is so good. His dad, who should have died, didn't die, now he's living. Now he's gonna go down why everybody else is still living as long. Let me see where he's going.
Helps him regain some muscle control, and does some cleaning for him. And really, it's his best life. And in his house, he has his own house. And because of all this immigration, he's seeing the property value go up. He's seeing himself getting wealthier and wealthier. If you're a baby boomer who's been taught that what matters is achievement and accumulation, why would you give up now, right? As your life gets better and better, why would you give it up now? So even though, he's bedridden all the time, I see him clinging to life. And I can understand why, because he's been through so much crap. And now he can really begin to enjoy himself. This is really heaven on earth for him. So he doesn't want to die. Okay? But it's not just him. It's the entire generation of baby boomers. Millions and millions of them. And in Canada, they're a quarter of the population. So they control all the political power, they control all the wealth, and therefore they can dictate government policy. I have a friend in New York City, a very famous person, extremely wealthy, like tens of millions of dollars, and she's 90 and she has Alzheimer's and she can't walk most of the time. She's sleeping, she's semi-comatose basically. And I thought, any day now she could die, but I've been thinking that for the past 10 years. And one day I asked my cousin, who's a doctor, listen, if you're 90 years old and you're senile, you have Alzheimer's, you can't get out of bed, but you have unlimited wealth, how long can modern medicine keep you going? Like, how long can you survive? She has like 4 full-time caregivers to make sure that, she's taken care of. And my cousin, the doctor, said to me, cool, she can go on for another 20 years at least. Another 20 years at least. So these baby boomers aren't dying, okay? So the baby boomers have captured all the wealth of society, and they refuse to share any of it because of their achievement ethos, and they're not dying. So, but then there's actually a much bigger problem, which is that baby boomers are wedded to the idea of empire. Last year, I was in Brooklyn, visiting some friends. I got invited to a party, and this party was full of China experts. So apparently, every China expert in the world is from Brooklyn. So after COVID, when they were forced out of China, they all returned to Brooklyn. And so I met all of them at this party. And I was talking to one lady, very, very, very wealthy.
Hilarious. Apparently, all the China experts are in Brooklyn, and I met them at this party. He's being still sarcastic.
He comes from a very powerful family. And and she was a baby boomer, and I discussed with her. We were talking individually, one-on-one. I said to her privately my fears about the American political system. I said my fear is that given the trajectory of American foreign policy, which is like extremely non-existent, I said there's a danger that America could be fighting wars on 3 major fronts. America could be fighting simultaneously Russia, Iran, and China. And then she looked at me and said, that's fine. We're America. We're the indispensable nation. We can do this. We can take on all 3 and defeat all 3. Does not matter. Okay? That's the arrogance of empire. All right, so let me give you an image of what empire is. And for this image, I'm going to draw on the play The Bacchae from Euripides. If you have not read Euripides, you must read Euripides, one of the greatest playwrights in human history. So he wrote the play The Bacchae about the year 400 BCE.
What's it called?
The greatest playwright in. If you have not read Euripides, you must read Euripides, one of the Bacchae from Euripides. If you have not read Euripides, you must.
Let's see. Does he reference it at all? What's the Euripides?
The play The Bacchae from Euripides. If you have
The Bacchae?
not read Euripides. All right, so let me give you an image of what empire is. And for this image, I'm going to draw on the play The Bacchae from Euripides. If you have not read Euripides, you must read Euripides, one of the greatest playwrights in human history. So he wrote the play The Bacchae about the year 400 BCE. And this is like after the Peloponnesian War, when
I had it open already. It's a film. It's also a DC band. The Bacchae. It's an ancient Greek tragedy written by Athenian playwright Euripides during his final years in Macedonia. At the court of Archelaus, first of Macedon, it premiered posthumously at the Theatre of Dionysus in 405 BC as part of the tetralogy that also included. I can't pronounce this, but even if I tried. Iphigenia and Alias and Alcmaeon and Corinth, and which Euripides, son of nephew, is assumed to have directed and won his first prize in the city of Dionysia festival competition. The tragedy recounts the Greek myth King Pentheus of Thebes and his mother Agave, who were punished by the god Dionysus. Okay, which is this person's cousin. For rejecting his call, the play opens with Dionysus proclaiming that he has arrived at Thebes with his. Oh, I gotta practice my Greek pronunciation. Voltarius. They should have like a how to pronounce some Greek words when you're reading them. Hey AI, get on it. To avenge the slander repeated by his aunts. He is not the son of Zeus, disguised as a foreign holy man. The god intends to introduce Dionysian rites into the city, but the Thebans reject his divinity and King Pentheus orders his arrest. Eventually, Dionysus drives Pentheus insane, luring him to the mountains. The play ends with the woman of Thebes, driven by Dionysus' orgiastic frenzy, tearing Pentheus apart, while his mother Agave bears his head on. God, these words are killing me. Thyrsus to her father Cadmus. See, this just tells me I need to read out loud more and read Greek mythology out loud, because all these words, and I just need to watch some more Greek mythology, because this stuff's actually pretty interesting. Will this go over this if I do this? Yep. Okay. Eventually, Dionysus drives Pentheus insane, luring him to the mountains. The play ends with the women of Thebes, driven by Dionysus' orgiastic frenzy, like an orgy, tearing Pentheus apart, while his mother Agave bears his head on Thyrsus to her father Cadmus. Regarded as Euripides' masterpiece, the Bacchae, he just said it too, is classified among the greatest ancient tragedies. It's distinctive in that the chorus is integrated into the plot, and the god is not distant present is not a distant presence, but a character in the play, indeed the protagonist. Oh, wow.
Athens, human history. So he wrote the play The Bacchae about the year 400 BCE. And this is like after the Peloponnesian War, when Athens, the Athenian Empire, which had become basically a mafia state, basically decided to go to war against the entire world, and thousands and thousands of the young people died in these wars of empire. And so Euripides wrote the Bacchae almost as a critique of empire. And so the ending of the Bacchae goes like this. There's a religious festival in the mountains, and these women are all drugged out, okay? They're hallucinating. And as part of the religious festival, they sacrifice a man who's the king of Thebes, Pentheus. And so what they do is they capture him, they rip him apart, okay? They physically rip him apart. They rip up the limbs, they rip up the legs, they dismember him. And the person who rips off his head is actually his mother, Agave. And after she does this, she becomes ecstatic. And she takes the head and she runs back to the city of Thebes, and she proclaims to the citizens, look at what I've done. And she's holding the head of her son, Pentheus, in her right hand. And she's saying to everyone, this is a lion's head. You see how brave, you see how powerful, you see how virtuous I am for fighting a lion and ripping his head off. And then everyone looks at her aghast. They don't believe that she can't see the truth. And so finally her father, Cadmus, has to tell her, Agave, that's not a lion's head. That's the head of your son. So that's what an empire is, okay? If you want to know what an empire is, remember the image of a mother holding the head of her son and proclaiming to the world, look how brave, powerful, and virtuous I am. An empire is a system where the old sacrifice the young for their glory. Okay, that's what an empire is. And that's what the baby boomers want. They grew up in a time of the Pax Americana. They don't want to see it die in their lifetimes. They rather burn down the entire empire. They rather sacrifice their own children and their grandchildren than to lose the idea of empire while they're alive. Okay? So that's why the baby boomers have basically told the American government to launch these wars around the world to save the Pax Americana, because that's the system they grew up in. That's a system they want to die in. The Pax Americana, the Anglo-American Empire. They want to feel virtuous, powerful, and strong. Okay? And they don't care if they have to burn down the world in order to do so. And so the question then is, what can we do? Well, you think about it, there's nothing we can do, because as I said, the baby boomers are the most dominant political group in the Western world. They control the political system. They control the financial system. They can control the cultural system. And they're our parents. They're the people we love and honor and cherish. I'm not going to say to my father, hey dad, you're paralyzed, your life doesn't have any meaning anymore, and maybe it's time for you to rest in peace, and so that the rest of the world, the young, can have their place. So one metaphor that I think best describes the world we live in is rat utopia. Rat utopia are a series of experiments conducted by James B. Calhoun in the 60s and 70s. And this was a time of growing abundance in the world. And this is the first time in human history when we escaped scarcity, the problem of scarcity. So we want to look at what would happen if we lived in a world of abundance. So we created these experiments, these colonies, where rats were allowed to live in a world of abundance. There were no predators, there was unlimited water and food. And what happened each time he did this experiment, and no matter how he tweaked the experiment, the result was the same. What happened was the social hierarchy that governed the rat colony collapsed. And Calhoun calls this the behavior sink. And very quickly, the rats start to cannibalize each other. They start to engage in all sorts of brutal activities. And as a result, everyone died out. Okay? So no matter how James B. Calhoun constructed this experiment, ultimately it led to the collapse of the rat colony and the extermination of all the rats. And he struggled with this all his life, and he could never really find the answer as to why this was happening. And the only thing that he could hypothesize is maybe water can be infinite. Maybe security, food, luxury, maybe all can be provided infinitely. But one thing that is not infinite, one thing that is a zero-sum game, is the idea of status. And we are ingrained, the desire for status is inherent to us. We strive for status. So normally in the state of nature, rats will fight each other for status. And the rats who lose, they'll run off somewhere else and they'll build their own colony, or they'll get killed by natural predators. But in an enclosed environment where the rats can't run off somewhere else, then they're forced to constantly fight each other over and over again for status. Peter Turchin, the social scientist, has a concept for this. It's called elite overproduction. Societies collapse over time because too much elite is being produced, and ultimately they will fight each other for the limited positions of power and status. And so we're living in rat utopia. And quite honestly, this is why young people now refuse to have children. It's not just because the economic opportunities for young people are very limited, are very pessimistic, and they are. The real reason is the baby boomers refuse to give up their status. Think about the politicians in Washington, D.C. Many of them, their brains aren't even functioning, and they're still there. And so we live in a time of rat utopia. But again, these people are the ones who gave us birth. They're the ones who nurtured us. They're the ones who we must honor and cherish. So we can never ever blame the baby boomers for what's going on. We blame the immigrants, or we blame the Jews, or we blame the deep state, or we blame Trump, or we blame Justin Trudeau. But we never blame the real culprits, who are the baby boomers. Okay, so the question then is, what can we do? And so I think the only thing we can do is tell the truth. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our children to let them know the truth. It was not the immigrants who destroyed the West. It was not Putin or Trump or Trudeau who destroyed the West. It was not the Jews. It was us, because we became selfish, lazy, and corrupt. That's the real reason why the West is dying, and the real reason why no one can do anything about it. Okay? Because we refuse to admit the truth to ourselves. But the least we can do is tell the truth to our children, and that's why I do what I do. Okay, so again, apologies for today. I'm sorry it's such doom and gloom. Next week we go back to the regular programming of just cheer. Okay, no, I'm not going to ever be optimistic about the world, because there's no reason to be optimistic about the world. Okay, so next week I'm going to preview the next academic year of classes I'll be teaching. I'll be teaching 3 new classes. the secret history of the world. So I'll be going into the nexus of finance, intelligence, and religion. It's gonna be a really interesting class. I'm really looking forward to teaching it. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. I'll also be teaching the great books, and I'll also be teaching game theory. Okay, so in my next video next week, I'll be sharing with you, preview these 3 classes. If you like what I do, please support my work by supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. The link is below. If you want to be part of my community, the Predictive History community, please join my Discord server. This week, I've started a Substack, and if you want to join my Substack, the link is.
I love Professor Jiang. I've been listening to Secret History. I am so far back on a lot of his lectures though, so I'm gonna just continue watching it. And I think I'm just going to that's gonna be what I need to do throughout the rest of this month. Is I want to stay educated with what he's teaching, with how the world is currently being ran, and I also want to work on my Etsy art store. So I think I'm gonna do both at the same time. I'll go back and forth between, looking at a reference image and obviously kind of just listening to his lecture. And I think I'll just do both, because why not? Let's see.
Empires are most conscious. We are not indebted to the reason of man for any of the great achievements, which are the landmarks of human action and human progress. It was not reason to be besieged Troy. It was not reason that sent forth the Saracen from the desert to conquer the world.
Okay, so the Saracens are the Muslims, okay? Keep on going.
That inspired the Crusades. That instituted the monastic orders. It was not reason that produced the Jesuits. Above all, it was not reason that created the French Revolution. Man is only truly great when he acts from the passion. Never irresistible, but when he appeals to the imagination. Even Mormons counts more votaries than Bentham. And you think then that an imagination once subdued the state, imagination may now save it. Man is made to adore and to obey, but if you will not command him, if you give him nothing to worship, he will fashion his own divinities and find a chieftain in his own passions.
So, Sonoy is emphasizing the limitations of British philosophy, right? Locke, Hume, Bentham, Mill, they're all limited. And so what the British need is for the Jews, with their imagination, with their religion, to save the British, to lead the British, to guide the British. Okay, does that make sense? So again, this is trying to establish Jewish supremacy. Okay, all right, this is much too long, okay? But what he's really saying is, like, listen, we Jews, we want to be part of society. We are naturally conservative, but we also want to practice our religion. So if you, the British at any point, try to restrain us, if you try to take away our religious rights, we will rebel against you. We are cohesive. We will stand up for liberalism. We will stand up for secularism. We will stand up for individualism, because these 3 philosophies are what most protect us from religious overreach. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what he's saying. So Alan, can you start here? You never observe.
You never observe a great intellectual movement in Europe in which the Jews do not greatly participate. The first Jesuits were Jews.
This is true, okay, guys. The secret intelligence agency of the Catholic Church were first Jews. This is true. Keep on going.
That mysterious Russian diplomacy which so alarmed Western Europe is organized and principally carried on by Jews.
So the Jews are the agents of the Russian Empire. Keep on going.
That mighty revolution which is at this moment preparing in Germany, and which will be, in fact, a second and greater reformation, and of which so little is as yet known in England, is entirely developing under the auspices of Jews, who almost monopolize the professorial chairs of Germany.
Okay, so this hasn't happened yet, okay? He's saying, this is the year 1844, he's saying like, the revolution that you will see later on in Germany, we organized it, man. We Jews organized it. Why? Because we control the academies, we control the professorships of Germany. Keep on reading.
Neither the founder of spiritual Christianity, who is Regius Professor of Divinity in the University of Berlin, is a Jew.
Okay, so keep on going, okay, we won't read it. About how many professors are Jews, okay, do you understand? Now what's amazing is, again, this came out in 1844 and 1848. There were revolutions throughout Europe, throughout Germany. So how did Disraeli know about this? Well, possibly because the British were helping to finance all of this, right? Remember the alliance between the British and Septimian Frankists. All right, can you read, Amber?
Okay,
From here, okay?
A few years back, we were applied to by Russia. Now, there has been no friendship between the court of St. Petersburg and my family. It has Dutch connections, which have generally supplied it, and are representations in favor of the Polish Hebrews, a numerous race, but the most suffering and degraded of all the tribes, have not been very agreeable to the Caesar.
The Tsar. Okay, so what he's saying is, we're very rich and nation states come and look for us for money, okay? So Russia wants a loan from us. We said, no, you mistreat the Jews. So we're not gonna give you any money, okay? The Russians are notorious for being anti-Semitic at this stage. Okay, keep on going.
However, circumstances drew to an approximation between the Romanovs.
The Romanovs are the controlling family of Russia.
And the Sidonians. I resolved to go myself to St. Petersburg. I had on my arrival an interview with the Russian Minister of Finance,
Count
Cankrin. I beheld the son of a Lithuanian Jew. The loan was connected with the affairs of Spain. I resolved on repairing to Spain from Russia. I traveled without intermission. I had an audience immediately on my arrival with the Spain minister, Senor Mendizabal. I beheld one like myself, the son of a Nuevo Cristiano, a Jew of Aragon. In consequence of what transpired at Madrid, I went straight to Paris to consult the president of the French Council. I beheld the son of a French Jew, a hero, an imperial marshal, and very appropriately so, for who should be military heroes if not those who worship the Lord of hosts. And is Solut a Hebrew? Yes, and others of the French marshals, and the most famous, Massena, for example. His real name was Manasseh. But to my anecdote, the consequence of our consultations was that some northern powers should be applied to in a friendly and mediative capacity. We fixed on Prussia, and the president of council made an application to the Prussian minister, who attended a few days after our conference. Count Arnim entered the cabinet, and I beheld a Prussian Jew. So you see, my dear
Conisby,
that the world is governed by a very different personage from what is imagined by those who are not behind the scenes.
So it's Jews who control the world, because only Jews get along together, okay? So if Jews didn't exist, the world couldn't get along, right? And Jews hide everywhere. And that's how the world works, guys. You think the person in charge is in charge, but actually it's a secret society of Jews. Now, again, I'm not saying this is true. I just find it really weird that Benjamin Disraeli is writing about this, okay? And again, he's getting a lot of this information from the Rothschild banking family. So the Rothschild, for whatever reason, think they control the world, okay? So I don't go much into this in detail, but I will point out that there is evidence that this is true, all right? So we're gonna look at the Communist Revolution in Russia together. I also want to keep you in mind that I don't think this is true, actually. There's evidence this is true, but I do not think this is true. Why Disraeli is writing about this, we will discuss next class, okay? But it's all part of a secret plan, all right? But first, let's look at the evidence that this may be true. Again, I'm not saying this is true, but there is evidence that this is true. Okay? And the major piece of evidence is the Communist Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, 1917, that overthrew the government of Russia to create a communist government. All right, first let's talk about revolution. There are 4 elements you need in order for a revolution to be successful, okay? The first is you need a really charismatic leader. Second is you need a broad mass appeal, usually land for the peasants, freeing debt, okay, end of war, peace. Then you need organizational discipline. Everyone has to get along, okay? There has to be a cohesive group. The last element, of course, is you need incompetent opposition. Your enemy is a moron, okay? And of course, the classic example of this is Mao Zedong versus Chiang Kai-shek, okay? Mao Zedong.
I like this green and blue look. I think I might get rid of that yellow over here. But then I was thinking about making it like a kind of like a bee planet. If it has that yellow and black theme going on. But I'm not a fan of how it looks yet. I don't like how the yellow parts look. I'm gonna get rid of it. I'll add like a little texture to it. Organic. Paper daisies. That's weird. Nope. I feel it's interesting. I like it. I'll go with it. I'll check on YouTube and see what this does. Okay, I think it looks.
Was a charismatic leader with a very strong organization, and Chiang Kai-shek, even though he had a huge army, even though he had the American army, even though he had all sorts of benefits, he was a moron, okay? And that's why he lost. All right, so the same is true for the Russian Revolution. This is Vladimir Lenin. He's not charismatic, but he is extremely focused, he's fanatical. And this is Leon Trotsky, who is very charismatic. He's a great speaker, and he's a Jew, okay? So I will point out that in 1917, he helped lead the revolution. But before that, he was actually in the United States. He had an apartment in New York City paid for by wealthy Jewish bankers. His uncle is a very wealthy Jewish industrialist in Ukraine. Okay, so he's part of this transnational capital network. And even though he himself is a revolutionary, he hates capitalism. If someone gives you money, you cannot help but be influenced by that person, okay? That's just a reality. All right, so October 1917 is when the Bolsheviks launched a revolution and they seized power. And then a month later, they organized an election. And as you can see, they are actually not the most popular party in Russia. They only have about 23% of the vote. The Socialist Revolutionaries actually have much more popularity than they do. They are 37%. And then you have all these different groups. The Ukrainians, the cadets who are liberals, the Mensheviks, the Cossacks. So at this point in history, Russia is divided into so many different groups. You have different ethnicities, you have different political programs, you have different orientations, okay? And this is what will launch the Great Civil War, okay? And at this time in history, remember, the Bolsheviks only control a certain part of Russia. They are the official government, but they only control a small part. And the White Army, which is a combination of the liberals and monarchists, they have a much more stronger military. And also at the same time, you have all these different ethnic groups, the Ukrainians rebelling against the Bolsheviks, including the Polish. But over the next 5 years, slowly the Bolsheviks will obtain absolute power. And so the question is, how do they do that? Well, the first tool is terror. Okay, this is called the Red Terror, where they went around and killed anyone who opposed them. Now, what you don't understand is there's actually a strategy behind the Red Terror. The very idea is to steal as much money as possible from wealthy people, okay? So you're an aristocrat, you have a lot of wealth hidden. I need your money. So you either give me your money or I will kill your daughter, and I will kill your son, and then I will kill your wife, okay? So it's your choice. Give me all your money or I will kill everyone in your family. So the Bolsheviks were fanatical about this, and that's why they won the war. Leon Trotsky organized the Red Army in the war against the White Army. Okay, there were also the Greens, which were these peasants. So there was a lot. So the Bolsheviks were far behind. So how did the Bolsheviks, the Red Army, win the war? Well, guys, they had a lot of help. Okay, they had a lot of mercenaries coming to the country, tens of thousands of mercenaries to help them, especially the Chinese mercenaries, the Latvians, the Hungarians. Okay. Why? How did they get all this money? Transnational capital. Wall Street and the city of London were bankrolling the Soviets. Why were they doing that? Also, we have to remember that at this time in history, during the Revolution, Britain and France, the United States, Japan sent armies into Russia. Now, what you learn in class is, oh, it's because they are capitalists and they fear the communists. And that's why they sent armies to try to reduce the Bolshevik threat. That's not true, guys. Why they sent the armies is because the Bolsheviks reneged on debt, okay? Russia owed a lot of money to Britain, Japan, United States. and France. And so these armies were sent in order to threaten the Bolsheviks. So what the Bolsheviks did was they stole as much money as they could from the peasants, the nobility, from the treasury, and pay off these armies. And then these armies helped them in the war against the whites. Okay, does that make sense? Okay? All right, so let's summarize what we've just learned. Now, what you're taught in history class is America and Britain needs Russia in war against Germany, and that's why, and the Germans control the Bolsheviks, and that's why Britain and America would not support the Bolsheviks. And the counter argument is, no, it's transnational capital that has influence over Anglo-American foreign policy. Okay, do you understand? Anglo-American foreign policy, it's not to serve national interests, it's to serve private capital. Okay, that's the first point. Second point is, the Bolsheviks are communists, and so they're a threat to capitalism. And the counter argument is, actually, transnational capital cares about profit. They don't care about ideology. All right? What drives them is money, not ideas. And the third argument is, the Bolsheviks hated imperialism and capitalism, so they would refuse to work with Wall Street and the City of London. And the counter argument is that they believe that the ends justify the means. We just have to do what we need in order to obtain power. Then we can create our socialist paradise, okay? All right? All right, so this is a book called Wall Street and the Russian Revolution. A historian by the name of Richard Spence. He spent a lot of time collecting documents that show that, in fact, transnational capital were helping the Bolsheviks win power in Russia. Why? Because they believed in the Bolsheviks? No, because transnational capital, first and foremost, steals. You understand? They like revolution because revolution is an opportunity to steal as much as you can. Okay, you can buy things really cheaply during a revolution, and this is his argument. All right, so let's read a couple passages from his book. So, Amber, can you read, please?
The pro-Bolshevik faction on Wall Street had a most outspoken pitchman in the aforementioned William Boyce Thompson. Departing Petrograd, he arrived back in the States on Christmas Day in 1917. On 18th January, he sat for an interview with a representative of Dow Jones and published in the Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal, of course, is the newspaper of Wall Street. Keep on going.
Despite the fact that Bolsheviks had proclaimed an armistice on the Eastern Front and opened peace negotiations with Berlin, Thompson insisted that the Russians would never conclude a separate peace.
Okay, so he's just lying to people, okay? The Bolsheviks want peace with Germany. They promise peace to the people. That's why they're popular. And these Wall Street bankers are just lying to American people. Okay, keep on going.
He pooh-poohed reports that there was anarchy in Russia and said that the Russian people were trying to adopt socialism as the basis of their government. If they were allowed to succeed, an extremely democratic, well-managed country will emerge. In other words, an excellent business environment.
Okay, so what the Bolsheviks basically did was they took all the gold they had to bribe Wall Street so that Wall Street would go and brainwash American people, okay? That's the strategy here. All right, can you read, Alan? Yeah.
For those on Wall Street and elsewhere who dream of putting the brakes on Russia's economic development and seeing its riches and resources up for grabs under a regime willing to sell anything, their dreams have basically come true.
Okay, so it's really important to understand. The British Empire was fighting a war against Germany. Russia was an important ally, right? They didn't care because for Britain, they wanted to destroy everyone. Okay? So that's why they support
and seeing its riches and resources up for grabs under a regime willing to sell anything. Their dreams have basically come true.
Okay, so it's really important to understand. The British Empire was fighting a war against Germany toward the Russian Revolution because they knew the Bolsheviks.
1 second, people. I want to see why this looks like this. Okay, that looks normal.
would destroy the Russian economy. So, keep on going.
From 1918 through early 1921, Bolshevik war communism reduced Russia to an economic based on barter and robbery. Besides the abolition of private trade and the destruction of the monetary system, the Red regime embarked on a massive looting campaign, ransacking palaces, bank vaults, churches and museums. They expropriate every valuable they could get their hands on and stash it all in a new state treasury. By the close of 1921, an estimate $450 million in valuable had been sequestered there. With more to come, much of it does not.
Do one more space set, and then this is gonna be my first listing on Etsy. Is the space set. I'm gonna do 5. I wrote down 10, but this honestly took a little bit longer than I thought. Some of them look a little weird. But I think it got better as it went on. I like this one, it has like more of my style behind it.
Destined to be fenced abroad for a fraction of its value in capitalist hard currency.
So this is how empire works, guys, okay? They destroy nations in order to steal as much as they can. What happens afterwards, they don't care. All right, it's that simple. All right, okay, so after the Bolsheviks consolidated power, after the Civil War, everyone assumes that Trotsky would be the new leader. But it's Stalin that becomes the new leader, okay? Why? Because after the war ends, there's expectation among the Bolsheviks that, we help the transnational capital so much, they're gonna help us rebuild our nation, okay? They're gonna give us loans, they will give us technology to help us rebuild Russia. And guess what happened? Transnational capital says, no, you guys are good, we're good, we made our money, okay? And so now what's happening is that Leon Trotsky, who is a Jew.
That looks fucking cool. I can't believe I just accidentally did that. It wants to go back out. I think it's All these different space sets look fucking amazing, actually. To me they do. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. America. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Mexico. America? America? Looks kind of like an eyeball. It's kind of creepy. I'm a fan though. Like a rip in space. Let me see if I can do a little bit more rips and spaces. Looks like it's danger in there. Paolo, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. I got so absorbed in this. I started just making so many space sets. Cause I was first just doing this, just like making some planets and everything, and then I had accidentally like dragged my finger over one of the colors and dropped it into space, and it changed the whole theme. I was like, oh shit! I was like, that looks pretty cool. So then I was like, let me do some more. So then I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 of them. I'm gonna put them up on Etsy. That's gonna be my. This one looks like a rip in a universe or something. It looks like an eyeball. I was trying to make some more like that. Yeah, it happened by accident. I was just sitting there, I'm listening to this guy.
Explained, right?
Predictive History, Empire of Evil. So I think I'm gonna make a bunch like. Let me look up some flags. I was trying. This one looks like USA, right? Red, white, blue. I was trying to make this one Mexico, red, white, and green. Accent is our art. I gotta get some planets in them though, like this. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Watch this. Watch this, my boy. Wait, put those together. Come on. Come on. Come on. Group those. Let me copy that. Let's take that to. Let me get to that one. Let me hit duplicate on that. Watch this. Let me paste some planets up in there. Boom. Let me see. Change some of the planet. Ooh, come on. What's going on? Ah. Let me change some of the planets. Colors. Got a whole new solar system right here. Right, ready to go. Boom. Am I using the markers? I've used the markers. Let me show you. I have it over in the room. Give me a sec. Alright. So, like any good artist, you gotta practice your mediums, okay? So let me show you some of the things I've been practicing. You ready, my boy? No, I'm not using them on, I can't use the markers you gave me on Procreate. Look at this stuff. Got a chicken. It's my favorite one right here. My favorite chicken. Blue. And another chicken with his chest out. This is the first one I did. It looks a little wonky. I tried to draw Hey from Moana, but it looks like he's standing on a piece of shit. That's a log, okay? The brown was too dark, but that's not a piece of shit, it's a log. So, Dome said he looks a little too sophisticated though. So I gotta make him look a little crazier. Let me show you Hey Hey. So he looks a little bit more demented. I have some markers like them, but you got me like a different set. Let me show you some other stuff that I did with the markers before. I was practicing some trees. Doma really likes these trees. I gotta make more trees. I want to make like a landscape type of thing. So that's gonna be in the works. A little bit of a landscape. But yeah, I had a nice happy accident with my with the planets. Nice little happy accident. Bro, all I'm gonna be doing for the foreseeable future is just practicing my art. So thank you. It means a lot. It really does. No, like honestly though, it does mean a lot because this is all I have to work on. I'm gonna put these things together real quick. And copy this one. Let's see where this one will look nice in. Maybe this green one. Let me duplicate this real quick. Select. Duplicate. Boom. Let's add some different colors up in here. I want to do some contrasting. Get red up in there. How's that one look? Too contrasty? My whole goal today was just to create some space sets, and I think I'm liking how it turned out because I found this little trick. I feel like this would be some sort of like Kirby world, right? I gotta get more cotton candy though. Now, if anybody buys these, that's gonna be the, what's gonna let me know if this is actually gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna sell these. These are gonna be, I'm gonna have like space sets on Etsy to start off. And I just wanna see, we'll see what happens. Because, hey, watch this. Watch me duplicate this. Watch, now I can do this. What? 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 Not too many. Yeah, I don't want to do that. there's too many shits there. Like digital pieces for backgrounds and stuff. Yeah, there's gonna be backgrounds. So this is my whole space set that I got going on. And I'm gonna make some stickers. So here's a bee. I posted this one, hold on, let me show you that. I posted this one on my Instagram. Will you be my Valentine? I'm gonna make this bee into a bunch of stickers that say like a bunch of different things. Let me show you where some of the things I'm gonna make this bee say. Okay, where are they? Where is it? Hold on. Some climate friendly things. This heat wave is really messing with my buzz. The bee's gonna say that. No, not a good one. Some political humor. I don't trust WASP. Too aggressive. Zero policy. The Queen says everything is fine. The Queen always says that. I used some ChatGPT for some stuff the bee would say, but I wasn't really a fan of what it was saying. Let me show you what I came up with. This is what I wanted to say. Climate change is real. This cute bee is gonna say that. He's gonna say fuck ice. He's gonna say the Queen is angry today. He's gonna say one day I'll be queen. And then I put, will you be my Valentine? Should I do a poll? What should this bee say next? And which one do you like more? This is I try to make it more 3D looking. And this is the original. This is what it normally looks like. Like it has like zero texture behind it. It's kind of like really flat. So I felt like I got rid of the lines and I just stuck with the color, and I added some highlights and some shadows. It kind of makes it look a little bit more 3D, right? I have to do something similar to this bee right here, because he's gonna be a little bit creeped out, so he might be like frightened, the scared bee. I was gonna put boxing gloves on this one. And this is the bee that wants to get inside your house. Let me in, buzz buzz. But this is the main one I worked on. Will you be my Valentine? Bro, these look kind of crazy now. I really like how these are turning out. What are you up to today? What are you and Bella doing for Valentine's Day? You like the flatter ones for the bees? So you like this bee more than this bee? Because if that's the case, then I won't have to go through, like, this bee is easy to make. Just your preference, though. This bee is easy to make. I already have these guys done. Like, going through this process of shading it and making it look a little 3D, it takes a little work. I'm not gonna lie. You saying you prefer the flat one pissed me off. I hate that. You know how much work I put into that bead to give it some texture and fuzz? You're like, I like the easy one. I'm sick! I'm fine. It's okay. It's alright, Paolo. You're sick to my fucking stomach. Dome said the exact same thing before she left this morning. She's like, I kind of like the flat one, the one with the outline. I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, yeah, I like that one. It looks nice. So I started shaking vigorously. My shakes just went away. And you brought them back. Woo! Paolo, you're gonna drive me up the fucking wall! Tell Dome the same thing. Driving me up the wall. It looks sick. You know I took time making that texture. You know, like, what about this texture? It's fine, it's alright. I don't know how I feel about this one though, if I'm being honest. I was like, I don't really wanna use it for anything. Now let's see how, if I copy it, let's see how it looks on one of them. Let me duplicate this one. No, oh my god, I almost deleted it. The thing I asked you is like, hey, are you sure? No, I'm not sure. Like, some of these planets just look weird, don't they? Especially this one back here. Like these two, I'm not really a fan of them. Okay, but this is what I'm gonna do though. I'm going to... I've been streaming for a little bit. I think this is what I'm gonna do for the foreseeable future. Is just what, like, every time I decide to work on my art, I will just stream. Because why not, right? Yeah, I definitely need to stream and make my art. Makes it a lot easier. I like this one. I have to go downtown today. I'm gonna hang out with Dome at the her place of residency. Just kidding. Where she works. We're going to make some chocolates for her sister's wedding. I really like this green one too. Let me see, I like the blue one. That looks crazy. I haven't done anything with this yellow one yet. Let me see if I can... Let me see what happens if I put both of these in there. If it'll look weird. Maybe not do the black one, I'll do this one. That. Maybe I can move this one down. Can I replace this with this one? Come on. Boom! Look at that. I'll keep it red, right? Red looks a little bit better. I think I'll make those this color now. Make them look like they're part of this planet. Let me merge these together now. Come on, create one new image. Look, I got a whole new solar system now. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let me find out how I can list some Etsy art sales. Let me do this first. This is what I was doing at the beginning of my stream, and you weren't here for it. Yeah. What? Huh? Hey, yo.
Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We don't keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be boo. We don't keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We don't keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be boo. We don't keep it cool. Will you be my boo?
Hey yo baby, you so sexy. Got my mind spinning on the daily. Holy shit, my feels so crazy for you. You my baby boo.
My feels go crazy for you.
Save me from the drowning. No more tears be falling. No side shorty. We're together in the morning. Hold my hand, I'm lifting. You're not dry like this. Take these shots, we tips. I love it when we fuck. I love it when you laugh. Your smile got me cheesy like some damn cheeses. Songs to the dome, let's get gone. I don't mind if we go home, cause I know it's not wrong. Baby, play that damn song, because I'll sing along, and together we'll be strong.
Lex.
Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We don't keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool.
Will you be my boo?
Wanna ride with you? What you tryna do? We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo? Just like in high school, I tryna be rude. We gon' keep it cool. Will you be my boo?
Let's do some more.
Get nasty with it. Come
Shake that ass.
Get nasty with it. And come shake
that ass.
Get nasty with it. And come shake
that ass.
Get nasty with it. And come shake that ass. Now throw that ass back like you fucking. Throw that ass back like you fucking.
What?
Throw that ass back like you fucking.
Huh?
Throw that ass back like you fucking.
What do you say?
Throw that ass back like you fucking. 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 Get nasty with it. Get nasty with it. Now throw that ass back. Now
Throw that ass back.
get nasty with it. Throw that ass back. Now throw that ass back. Get nasty with it. Shake, shake, shake,
Shake.
shake, shake, shake. Get nasty with it. Ass, 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 ass.
Okay, my space set's done.
Shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, shake, 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 ass, 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 ass. Get nasty with it. Get nasty with it. Now throw that ass back, 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 throw that ass back. Now shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Get nasty with it. Throw that ass back like you fucking. 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 Throw that ass back like you fucking.
Okay.
Get nasty
I am going to hop off stream now. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I was a little bit lonely until you showed up, but it's okay. I'm fine just doing this and grooving out while I can. I will be back tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I'll be back on Sunday. And for the foreseeable future, I have some homework I need to do, and then I'm gonna post this on my Etsy. And yeah, that's what I did today. That was my accomplishment. Our Etsy space set done. We'll see what